I'm a historian of the Black Panther Party, and it's a part of American history that has not always been included in mainstream histories of the US. So the United States has a system of racial segregation, both in the North and South. In the South, it's predicated on legal segregation. In the North, on housing, education, and jobs. But violence was core to the operation of this system. So you have the history of lynching in the American South in the 19th century. Roughly 5,000 people are lynched between the 1880s and 1920s. And you have a system both of private and state violence. So you have direct violence, the violence of guns, the violence of rape. In addition to the system of lynching, there was also systematic rape of Black women by white men. So you have a variety of different kinds of violence, the violence of lynching, the violence of rape, and then the everyday violence of denying people jobs. So in this context, in the 1960s and 1970s, at the high tide of the Black movement, after a successful civil rights movement that wins legal and civil equality in the South, you have the emergence of the Black Power movement in 1965. And the core base of the Black Power movement was the urban rebellions in American cities. The Black Panther Party is founded in 1966, and they start with police patrols, which is that they essentially carry loaded unconcealed weapons and they police the police. About the parallels between 1968 and today. As an American historian, I have been revisiting the question of 1968 through various periods in my career. And I was part of a generation of Black historians, younger Black historians, who wanted to write that story into history and to displace the criminalization and demonization of the party. Looked at from the point of view of 2018, I'm struck by the forces of reaction that were unleashed in the late 60s and the early 70s. And in some ways, there's a different way to interpret 1968 in the US, that it is a period of revolution and counter-revolution. And the counter-revolution of the last 50 years has been incredibly brutal. I don't think you can understand the emergence of Donald Trump without that history of political repression. So thinking about its relationship to the contemporary politics of Brazil, I'm especially interested in the parallel histories of the United States and Brazil. You know, the US is rarely compared to Brazil because the military dictatorship is seen as making Brazil exceptional. But I think that the problems of political authoritarianism exist in the United States as well. And so I think that that comparison can be a very productive one. So as an African-American historian thinking about 1968 and 2008, I'm interested in how Bolsonaro allows us to think about the transition from the military dictatorship. This is also the question that people outside the United States are asking because of his rhetoric. So how does his emergence fit in with a longer history going back to the late 70s and early 80s?